Why did the police stop a black man for no reason, and what they didn't know about him would shock the entire city? Malik Brooks had always believed in justice, discipline, and fairness. The sun was setting over London, casting a warm golden glow on the streets as Malik, newly appointed police chief, finished a late meeting at headquarters. He adjusted his coat and stepped outside, expecting a calm walk to his car, unaware that today would test everything he had worked for. Officer Daniel Hayes, already suspicious and quick to act, spotted Malik and assumed the worst, judging him by appearance alone. Without asking questions, Daniel pulled his patrol car close, sirens off but authority in full display. Malik, surprised but composed, raised his hands in calm compliance. Daniel accused him of suspicious activity, his voice sharp and commanding, making assumptions about Malik's intentions based solely on his skin color. Onlookers gathered, whispers spreading like wildfire, some judging Malik, others unsure what was happening. Malik explained politely that he was the police chief and had identification, but Daniel ignored him, insisting on questioning and detaining him. Sergeant Lisa Thompson, watching from nearby, felt a sinking dread, knowing Daniel's arrogance and racial bias would make the situation worse. The tension escalated as Malik remained calm, refusing to raise his voice, aware that any sudden movement could escalate matters. Dispatch tried to intervene, giving Malik a chance to show credentials, but Daniel waved them off, confident in his authority and blinded by prejudice. A small crowd of witnesses, including citizens and police staff, watched anxiously, some shocked at the disrespect shown to a fellow officer, while others silently nodded, assuming Malik must have done something wrong. Malik's heart remained steady, mind sharp, preparing for a confrontation that could either escalate into chaos or reveal the truth. Daniel, oblivious to Malik's real role, continued his aggressive behavior, ready to assert dominance, unaware that his assumptions were about to be shattered. In that tense moment, the air felt thick with judgment, bias, and suspense, the kind of situation that could define a career or ruin a reputation instantly. Malik decided to stay calm, relying on strategy and his understanding of human behavior, knowing that patience and clarity would reveal the truth. This was a moment where courage and composure would shine brighter than aggression, a moment that would teach many a lesson about assumptions and prejudice. Little did Daniel or the onlookers know, Malik Brooks, the black man they had judged so quickly, was not just any officer. He was their new police chief, and today's confrontation would forever change the dynamics of respect and authority within the force. Comment below what you would do if you were Malik in this situation. Subscribe for more suspenseful, emotional, and cinematic stories every week. Malik Brooks kept his composure as Officer Daniel Hayes continued to bark orders, his face red with arrogance and impatience, completely blind to the fact that the man he was accusing was the new police chief. Every instinct in Malik telling him that this confrontation was a dangerous test of authority, yet he stood calmly, showing nothing but patience, his calm voice cutting through the tension as he repeated his credentials, the badge gleaming in the fading daylight. Sergeant Lisa Thompson, stepping closer to subtly signal Hayes to back off, her eyes narrowing with silent frustration at her colleague's prejudice, while dispatch tried desperately over the radio to verify Malik's identity, their voices tense, caught between procedure and disbelief, the police witnesses and a small crowd of onlookers murmuring, whispering, judging Malik by nothing more than the color of his skin, assuming guilt before knowing truth, and Malik, though internally furious at the disrespect, chose strategic silence over confrontation, aware that any rash move could escalate the situation into violence or humiliation, as Hayes demanded Malik step aside and produce his credentials, refusing to acknowledge any explanation, every second stretching painfully as Malik's mind raced, considering options, thinking of his family, his duty, the legacy of every black officer who had been underestimated before. And then, with perfect timing, Malik slowly reached for his identification. Holding it high so all could see, his calm authority radiating like a shield, while Lisa gave a subtle nod, signaling support, and dispatch confirmed his position over the radio. The words echoing into the street, "Chief Brooks confirmed," causing a sudden pause, a ripple of shock passing through the crowd and Hayes himself, the arrogant officer faltering, speechless for the first time, realization dawning painfully as he struggled to maintain dominance, every whisper in the crowd now turning to astonishment. Some faces showing guilt, others awe, and Malik, holding the badge steadily, finally spoke with quiet authority, reminding everyone that respect is earned, not assumed, that judgment based on skin color is a dangerous mistake, and that patience, intelligence, and calmness could outshine arrogance and bias. As the street seemed to hold its breath, everyone witnessing not just a confrontation, but the undeniable truth of Malik Brooks' position, his power, and his dignity, the lesson clear to those watching. Never underestimate a person based on appearance, and always let justice prevail over prejudice. While Malik remained composed, aware that this moment was only the beginning of changing perceptions and setting an example, the tension slowly dissolving as even Hayes lowered his eyes, finally grasping the reality of who stood before him, leaving everyone, including the witnesses and onlookers, stunned by the strength, resilience, and authority of a man they had misjudged from the start. Comment below how you would react if you were in Malik's shoes. Subscribe to follow this suspenseful, dramatic story and see justice unfold. The street remained tense as Malik Brooks stood calm, every eye on him, Officer Daniel Hayes struggling to regain authority, his chest heaving, his voice sharp and filled with disbelief as he tried to justify his actions while trying to mask his embarrassment. Malik's calm demeanor radiating quiet power as he surveyed the crowd, noting the subtle shift in the expressions of dispatch and the police witnesses who had initially sided with Hayes, Sergeant Lisa Thompson moving closer to support Malik. Her presence a silent shield against further aggression, the murmurs of the crowd growing louder, whispers of astonishment blending with judgment as everyone began to realize the truth that had been hidden beneath assumptions and prejudice. Malik speaking slowly and clearly, outlining the proper protocol, the rights every citizen has, and the responsibility of officers to act with respect and integrity, his words cutting through the tension like a knife, challenging not only Hayes, but the mindset that had led him to assume guilt based solely on Malik's skin color, while Hayes, face reddened and ego bruised, sputtered excuses and half-hearted justifications, trying to regain control, yet failing with every attempt, the onlookers and witnesses shifting uncomfortably as the realization of systemic bias hit them. The once silent spectators now murmuring, some nodding in silent agreement, others uncomfortable with their previous assumptions, as Malik calmly extended his hand to Hayes in a gesture of reconciliation yet authority, a move so confident and composed that it left the arrogant officer momentarily stunned, his pride and prejudice clashing with undeniable respect for the chief standing before him, dispatch confirming Malik's authority repeatedly over the radio. Each acknowledgement fueling the weight of the moment, a slow transformation taking place in the minds of those present, as Malik's presence, patience, and unwavering integrity highlighted the stark contrast between arrogance driven by prejudice and leadership guided by justice, the entire incident becoming a silent lesson, a demonstration of how dignity, intelligence, and restraint can overcome aggression and bias. The crowd now captivated by Malik's grace under pressure, the witnesses taking mental notes. Realizing they had underestimated him, the situation serving as both correction and revelation, Hayes finally lowering his gaze in silent acknowledgement, the tension in the air beginning to dissolve, and Malik, though calm, was acutely aware that the real challenge had only just begun. For winning respect is one thing, changing minds and dismantling prejudice is another, his mind already strategizing the next steps to ensure accountability within the department. All while maintaining composure for the cameras, the witnesses, and the watching public, a single figure standing as proof that integrity and intelligence could not be overshadowed by prejudice or arrogance, leaving an indelible mark on everyone present, a moment that would be remembered as the day authority was questioned, humility prevailed, and a new chapter in the department's history began under the calm but commanding presence of Malik Brooks, reminding everyone that true leadership is shown not through dominance, but through patience, courage, and unwavering commitment to justice. Comment below how you think justice should be enforced when authority is misused. Subscribe to follow this suspenseful, dramatic story and witness the final confrontation in the next chapter. The tension that had gripped the street moments ago seemed almost trivial compared to what was unfolding now as Malik Brooks stepped forward, his calm presence commanding attention, Officer Daniel Hayes shrinking slightly under the weight of his own prejudice, and the undeniable authority Malik radiated, the dispatch confirming Malik's position repeatedly, the witnesses and surrounding officers now fully aware that the man they had attempted to humiliate and subdue was in fact the newly appointed police chief. The reality settling in like a wave of shock and awe, Sergeant Lisa Thompson maintaining her supportive stance beside Malik, her expression a mix of pride and relief, knowing the moment could change not only the outcome of that confrontation, but the culture of the department itself. Malik speaking again, this time with firm clarity and undeniable authority, addressing not just Hayes, but the entire group, outlining how bias and assumptions have no place in law enforcement. Detailing steps for accountability, fair treatment, and equality, every word landing with precision, piercing through denial, fear, and arrogance. The crowd of witnesses, both on duty and civilians, hanging on every sentence, some nodding slowly, some whispering among themselves in disbelief, others feeling the sting of realization for how quick they had been to judge Hayes, red-faced and humbled, realizing his behavior had been publicly exposed and corrected, his ego battered but alive. Yet forced to acknowledge the competence, intelligence, and moral fortitude of Malik Brooks, the man he had underestimated at every turn, as Malik continued, calmly yet firmly issuing instructions for proper conduct, ensuring justice and transparency, reinforcing that the law protects all equally, every citizen deserving respect regardless of color or background. And as he concluded, a silence fell over the street, a collective pause as the weight of the moment sunk in. The once judgmental eyes now reflecting a mixture of respect, shame, and admiration. The spectators slowly clapping, some hesitant, some genuine, the shift in energy palpable, Malik's calm authority transforming the fear and prejudice into acknowledgement and reflection, dispatch reporting full compliance from the officers, witnesses taking note, some whispering about the day, a black man in authority, redefined respect and courage, Lisa Thompson quietly proud of Malik's restraint and wisdom. The incident becoming a lesson etched in every mind present, a demonstration of patience, intelligence, and courage overcoming bias, Hayes finally muttering an apology small but sincere, the public witnessing a transformation not just of a single officer, but a system that often allowed prejudice to fester. Malik, with a quiet nod, signaled the end of confrontation, a new era beginning under his leadership, proving that leadership is not about domination, but about fairness, courage, and unwavering adherence to justice, the day leaving an unforgettable mark on every officer, witness, and spectator, a story that would be recounted as the moment integrity prevailed over arrogance and racism, the power of patience, knowledge, and moral strength shining brighter than any badge or title, and as Malik walked away, calm and dignified, his presence commanding quiet respect, Sergeant Lisa Thompson smiling with relief, the dispatch confirming his authority across the network. And even Officer Hayes learning, albeit reluctantly, that underestimating someone based on race or appearances could never withstand the truth of competence, justice, and character, a powerful lesson for everyone, proving that real leadership and respect are earned through action, fairness, and integrity, leaving the city, the department, and those who witnessed the incident forever changed. Comment below how you think leaders should handle authority and bias in the workplace. Subscribe to follow more powerful, suspenseful, and justice-driven stories like this one.